This is this is gonna be fun.
You know, as confused as we are, it really says something about Ben's team that we're just not exactly sure how he's going to approach it. Not many people are familiar playing against Mousehold and Furgraf together.
Yeah, and on this end, we see the pinnacle of aggression on Karl's side as we immediately get Ogerpon with that Terrifier, if he so pleases, and King Gambit. These are two of the most offensive mons on the team here. About to throw down.
Yeah, this is a really exciting way to start off the game. However, you know, neither of these Pokemon have access to a spread move, so I'm not sure if Karl's goal here is actually trying to knock out Mousehold or not. You know, I almost wonder if he'd prefer to do something like leave the Mousehold on the field so that it's wasting time in Trick Room.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You gotta wonder if Karl thinks that he can stop, or just like take any KO here. Right, is he gonna go for the Ivy Cudgel right off the bat?
Mousehold not even taking half from that. What the heck?
Mousehold is strong. There's a lot of mice over there.
Oh, four of them not even taking half from that Ivy Cudgel. Furgraf setting up Trick Room and King Gambit setting up a Sword Stance. So I think that turn played out the way Karl expected it to.
Yeah.
He's got this King Gambit sitting in a really nice position.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Look, you're in Sword Stance. You're in Trick Room. Obviously, your opponent who is used to Trick Room, they should be having the advantage. But it really feels like King Gambit set up with the Sword Stance can just start kowtow cleaving your opponents down with not a lot of opposition at this point.
Yeah, it's not like this Mousehold has Protect, neither does Furgraf. Furgraf not really accomplishing a whole lot with something like Dazzling Gleam or Energy Ball right now. This is going to be potentially a really big turn for Karl.
Yeah, and this is so interesting because even if Ben brings out Pokemon that are slower than King Gambit, you can always try to go for the Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because there is a Furgraf somewhere on the enemy team.
I don't think Mousehold is taking the +2 Kowtow Cleave. I think that's the end of the mice.
Yeah, I think as for as hot as a take that is,
with the mouse going down, that means this is going to be a Cudgel coming into Urshifu. This is not a comfortable switch at all, with Urshifu taking a full half from that.
Yeah. No, that is the Ogerpon King Gambit combo to start with is proving to be so strong. I mean,
however,
you're basically just saying, in spite of your strategy, I have moves and they do damage.
However, I think this is where that power band on the Urshifu is really going to start coming into play, because this is the one Urshifu on the planet that's actually going to be slower than a King Gambit.
Oh my goodness, it's going to get instructed. It's gonna throw down double here. This is fantastic.
Torkoal, another really good switch in here. It looks like Ben just has the two slower Pokemon in the field, and they are both ready to do some damage.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's especially worried about any defensive terrors on Karl's end either. However, maybe, Fire Ogerpon to get rid of that, neutral from Fire and turn it into a Fire Resist. I can kind of dig that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that the Ivy Cudgel is going into the Torkoal. I mean, it shows just how much Karl is respecting that eruption. We'll see if...
Oh, and Torkoal also has to worry about the threat of a Sucker Punch here.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the whole thing, is that Karl figures if I can go full blast on both my dudes, maybe one of them is able to slow down what's about to hit me. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, Torkoal is a force to be reckoned with, and we're about to see, surely an eruption, right?
Yeah. I think I might really like this play from Karl's end, but I think we need to see a Sucker Punch to put some damage on Torkoal. Otherwise, King Gambit is going to be going down for nothing.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. I wonder if there's going to be a Sucker Punch.
It's a Sucker Punch!
Yes! Look at that. Wow, that is huge. And it's
damage.
A Heat Wave. Anticipating the Sucker Punch.
Heat Wave, probably trying to put Ogerpon into range of one attack from Urshifu. I don't really think Ogerpon at half is going to be able to stand up to this Urshifu right now.
I don't think so. I really agree with you. Wicked Blow, I think that sinks it. That's
Ogerpon going down.
Yeah.
So Karl not able to do anything with his own Terra, as Ben still has this Terra Torkoal sitting pretty on the field. Karl forced down to his last two Pokemon,
which are
and they have to get
Landorus.
through 2 turns of Trick Room.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the name. The focus sash on this Urshifu is also quite important because we are going to be able to see a guarantee live through at least one hit, so perhaps prompting a double up, perhaps This is gonna be very neat.
Assault Vest Landorus really isn't like the worst kind of Pokemon to have to
No,
go
it's
into
not.
here either.
I just looked down to check to see if it was Choice Scarfed or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
No, Assault Vest really paying dividends here. It's not like Landorus is going to be slower than either of these Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, and it even has Earthquake to work with,
this-
which has like, if your Urshifu already wants to be going for a Protect and Trick Room, that's the perfect kind of move to pair it with.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like a Rock Slide is thrown down because Rock Slide is, I mean, yeah, it's
A slightly more offensive play. Heat Wave missing Landorus.
Oh, that's big. I mean, I think the whole thing with not Earthquaking is you don't want to kill off your own Urshifu. So,
Heat
like,
Wave doing that much? Oh my gosh. So this is
Okay.
neither knockout from Benzen.
oh my goodness. Is this going to be, okay.
Rock Slide, and then followed up with, I think this was a close combat coming out from
I think
Karl's
so.
side.
I think so. So now, I mean, it's gonna be for Farigiraf and Mousehold. That is not
No,
an
that
offensive
Mousehold
pair.
went down to Kowtow. It's just Farigiraf against the world.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, that is just a Farigiraf.
That Heat Wave miss was absolutely disastrous for Ben because
for
that was
sure.
surely going to do 1/3 to Landorus and then let this turn play out like very, very differently.
Oh, absolutely. And still with one turn of Trick Room, I mean, that would have sunk it for Ben. But wow. I mean, look, that's what you sign up for when you press a move that doesn't have 100% accuracy. For as much as people could be upset about it, that's kind of how it goes. Can this Farigiraf clean up? What is its moves? Does it have Hyper Voice?
No, we're just looking at Energy Ball for the offense. So
Oh,
it
wow.
looks like Karl's found a very safe Protect and U-turn here. That seems like the optimal play to just do as much damage as you can. And Farigiraf with like Power Lens isn't going to be doing it any favors once Trick Room ends. So I think Karl...
I have to wonder if there's a critical hit that you can land somewhere with this Energy Ball to be able to make it a 1v1, because both Landorus and Urshifu are really low, for what it's worth.
Maybe a crit onto Landorus would do the trick.
Yeah.
Is Ben going to do it? Or even a skill swap.
To Intimidate! Oh
Yes,
my goodness!
Intimidate, one of the best abilities to steal with skill swap, then taking advantage of that and punishing Urshifu for trying to protect.
Wow, that's really cool, honestly.
Then really showing that he knows this team inside and out, and even in desperate positions, he is willing to keep trying.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the problem, is that now you're not fast anymore.
Urshifu also happens to have a move that can ignore the attack drop. It would involve going, using Surging Strikes in the sun. Maybe it's not worth it. Just going to see that close combat instead. Oh, even at -1, that's pretty comfortably putting Farigiraf into range of a U-turn from this Landorus.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. That was really cool. I don't think that was... I mean, it's hard to say.
I don't think it was ever winning, unfortunately.
Yeah, but
like maybe that crit that you had talked about would have been a better way to see this out. However, Ben did get a little bit unlucky there to win. Like, I guess he did have to land a couple of Heat Waves, though, and it's natural. We're never going to be able to hit all of them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's within standard range, yes. Yeah, I mean, it is unlucky, but again, that's what happens when you click Heat Wave. That's what happens when you click Hydro Pump. That's what happens when you click Will-O-Wisp. Any of these moves that, there's naturally just, you take on the risk for as much as you don't like it. For as much as I don't like it, I take on the risk whenever I press any of those moves.
Oh, I also didn't realize that this is a Choice Specs Torkoal, so there's not even an option to be going for Protects with it.
I'm sorry,
It's
this
not
is a
that-
Choice Specs Torkoal?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That Heat Wave doing as much as it did to Urshifu felt a little bit off.
Yeah. My goodness. I don't think I've seen Choice Specs Torkoal in my short history of VGC, but that's a lot. That is strong.
For a team like this that's going all in on Trick Room, really living and dying by it, I can totally get it.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I do not think this team is able to set up a second Trick Room very often, and its goal is just sweeping the game with that first Trick Room.
Yeah.
Got to make it use of every single turn.
Yeah, and that's why you have Mousehold and Farigiraf, because you're able to just protect your extremely offensive mons. But what we just saw, was kind of the byproduct of taking all of your big tools and putting them up front, and then keeping your defensive tools in the back, because it could just get a little awkward. Like you switching out Farigiraf to be able to put on offensive pressure is good, but then you don't really have a follow-up afterwards.
I wonder what else both of these players could try, because I think Ben's strategy honestly might not need to change so much. I think he could try to do something similar, and he even got the call on the first turn of the game somewhat wrong with King Gambit getting up that free sword stance.
Yeah, I think similar strategy from Ben might be able to yeah, look at that. Mouse hold for a grab, trying to get that.
Both
Oh
players
my gosh.
just running it back.
What if they do exactly the same things?
I would not be shocked in the slightest if we saw that. One interesting thing, I guess it doesn't matter, but Ogerpon could even be trying to go for that Power Whip, which is going to be stronger than Ivy Cudgel prior to Terra. Was that the Terrifier selected?
I think that was the Terrifier selected, yes. I believe this is going to be almost exactly what happened before, right?
Wow, going for the Terrifier right away is just like a kind of a huge call.
I just think
I'm not
hitting
sure
the
what
gas,
Karl's looking for with this. Just because Mousehold...
If you crit it, it'll kill Mousehold.
Mousehold has a Focus Sash.
If you crit it, it won't kill Mousehold. So that's interesting to know.
I mean, also, like, with Friend Guard active, I'm not sure if this can even... Maybe this is just trying to push for a one-shot on Frigraph if Mousehold, like, slacks on the job and doesn't go for a Follow Me.
Yeah.
So Mousehold redirecting this. Cudgel. I think we're going to see Mousehold go down to that Focus Sash here, but it's like, is a Focus Sash Mousehold and a 50% Mousehold, like, are those really very different things?
No, not really. No, not at all. I mean, especially in the face of everything that Karl has to offer, these things do a ton of damage, or they don't do anything at all, really.
Yeah. So that turn 1 looks like Karl might have used his Terra too early, but now I'm wondering, does it really matter? Because I think what Karl's really been trying to set up here is that his options on the second turn of the game look nicer than they did last game. Because this can just be a Cudgel into the Frigraph again. There's not really anything that wants to take it.
I think there's a very interesting line of play that we might be seeing right now is that Karl is throwing down this Terra to set up the expectation that he's going to be attacking with his Ogerpon and then get a sneaky switch it.
So that could be interesting, but what is the switch in better than just connecting the Cudgel is what I have to wonder. Because you can definitely play with your opponent's expectations by using the Terra that early, but yeah, this looks like it might just be that really safe double up into the Frigraph. I don't really know how Ben... Energy Ball, so
I guess you were expecting a switch there.
Kowtow. So this can finish off.
Oh my goodness!
And then, So Mousehold is going to be able to go for a move.
Yeah.
Super Fang is pretty relevant damage here.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially because Ogerpon is, slower now in the Trick Room. You'll be able to finish that thing off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Karl did just knock out the 2 support Pokemon. Ben is going to jump in here with the 2 heavy hitters. Is it going to be the same 2 as last time? Is it going to be a switch up? I mean, we'll see in just a moment. There's not much of a decision to make here.
And the thing is, okay, so there's the Urshifu,
and probably
and
the
here's
Torkoal,
the
right?
Torkoal.
Yeah, orange feet.
That is
black
Torkoal,
tie.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone else on the team has orange feet.
Or orange feet, black tie. Is this new fashion trend that I'm not savvy to?
No. I mean, no.
So Karl, he even has Protect on both of his Pokemon if he just wants to stall another turn of Trick Room. Well, honestly, I think that might not be such a bad idea right now because he's already wasted 1 turn of Trick Room.
Well, you do get a Sucker Punch now.
Yeah, and a Sucker Punch just because, the Specs Torkoal can't do anything about Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
In fact, Karl could even choose to protect one of his Pokemon and sacrifice the other if he wants to stagger his Pokemon in the back in a certain way.
Yeah.
Perhaps he thinks he can do something with Ogerpon's redirection.
Yeah. I think Ogerpon, it's interesting because in this situation, your opponent kind of expects you to protect as well.
Oh, and I guess Urshifu can be trying to hit through protect anyway, so maybe protecting both isn't worthwhile. Urshifu just going for that Terra Dark to maximize its damage.
Right.
So your Sucker Punch for Torkoal.
Oh my goodness, that is so strong.
Terra Dark. Heat Wave. That's knockout onto King Gambit, and Urshifu's not going to have very much trouble finishing off Ogerpon from here.
Yeah, so we're going to be down to 2 Pokemon on Karl's end. And how many? This is still, 2-3 turns of Trick Room?
There's going to be 2 turns left after this, because the first turn was a double knockout on Ben's side, and the second turn was a double knockout on Karl's side. That's going to happen when we're playing teams that are as, pace like Ben's are, where, Mousehold and Frigraph, at some point, it's almost their job to get knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so here's the thing, is that Karl is almost guaranteed a retort in one of his Pokemon because of the Focus Sash from the Urshifu. So.
That's true, yeah. Torkoal, shouldn't be able to get either one-shot knockout here. However, I don't know, actually, one attack might be enough for him to win the game, just because like close combating Ben's Urshifu that can't protect is going to be game-winning if it connects, because then Urshifu could just be trying to protect on the last turn of Trick Room.
Here's what I think the big read should be, is jamming an Earthquake.
I think you're right. I think it's Earthquake and close combat the enemy Urshifu.
Yeah, because I think Ben is really going to try to go in onto Karl's Urshifu here.
But that's the thing. I don't even think the Earthquake is game-winning if Ben finds the right play and connects 2 Heat Waves. Unless maybe he throws in an Aqua Jet for a little bit more damage.
Let's see.
So here's the Heat Wave, doing about half to both. And
Wicked Blow.
Wicked Blow?
Is it onto? Yeah, okay, so did...
Urshifu surviving!
Oh my goodness! Okay, that was unexpected.
Here, okay, Rock Slide instead of Earthquake. This is, you don't want to knock out your own Urshifu if it survives the turn. But what's Karl's Urshifu going for? It is the close combat to finish off Urshifu.
Okay, so now it's a matter of, can Torkoal finish off this Landorus?
But regardless of that, Karl's got another turn of Trick Room to just all out with Protect on the Urshifu.
Yeah.
This should be a locked game at this point. Ben just does not have enough Trick Room to win, regardless of whether or not this Torkoal can survive an Aqua Jet.
Darn. Wow.
I guess I'm not sure why Ben wanted to go for Wicked Blow instead of a close combat there. Like, maybe he was just a little bit too worried about those drops, but like, I don't think Landorus was going to be able to finish off a full health Urshifu, even if it took the -1.
Yeah.
Wicked Blow just like letting him down. So we're going to see Karl advancing to day 2 with a 5-2 record, as Ben at 4-3 is just going to have to hope that his resistance is enough to qualify. Congratulations on advancing to day 2.
Thank you, thank you.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, what was your general strategy going into game 2 with like the exact same board state, the exact same everything? Like,
oh my gosh.
How did you feel about your adjustments?
Going into game 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about switching it up, and then I was like, if it worked the first time, I just gotta go with that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give him a game 2 win by picking the wrong mons, and then also show him like a different, potentially a different mode of my team, or give him more information.
Right.
In that
it's
way.
almost like losing 2 games at once when stuff like that.
Exactly.
So something that I have to ask about that I was really interested in.
Yeah.
What was up with that Terra Fire on Ogre Pond at the start of the second game? That was like a more aggressive use of the Terra than I expected.
Yes.
And it seemed interesting just because it offered Ogre Pond the chance to do more damage on like turn 2 than it could in the first game.
Yeah, it was interesting. I probably in retrospect thinking about it should have saved the Terra for Lando. To resist maybe the heat wave or something. I don't know, but I was just thinking I terrored it the first game and it worked. Might as well get it out early and start doing more damage.
Yeah, and I think it really made Ben a little bit more scared to go for that Urshifu switch in that he was able to do in the first game.
Right.
Just when you don't know if you're staring down that like Terrifier and body aspect like Ivy Cudgel, which might even be able to get the one shot there. I think it really like conditioned him to play a different game, and that worked out for you.
Absolutely. I was thinking to myself, I just don't want him to have a safe switch at any point, because the moment that happens and he gets Torkoal in under Trick Room, I'm like, it's a rough state for me. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think you did a really good job with like, you played against a very offensive team and you sort of just counter offensed it instead of trying to like slink back, because it was really hard to slink back when there's
how can you slink back again?
Yeah, I was like, I have no resource to shut down Trick Room here. Like, he's gonna get Trick Room up. I just got to hope that like the sash on Urshifu and the Lando that I have is very bulky and has a lot of special defense. Defense bulk.
Lando really came in clutch this game. The Assault Vest with like high bulk just seemed like the perfect set to sort of just like take those 1 or 2 critical hits and retaliate back.
Yeah, absolutely. I was worried about the double up into Urshifu, but
the fact that the Urshifu lived too was wild.
That Urshifu lived that Wicked Blow. I was like, thank you, Urshi.
Yeah, that was the move. Well, congratulations on making day 2.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Looking forward to seeing more tomorrow.
Yeah, and thank you, Chuppa. Chuppa helped me put together this team, so a lot of my gratitude goes to you for
course.
helping me be ready for this.
So happy to see you put it into action.
Yes, absolutely.
Heck yeah!
Thank you guys
so much. Alrighty, I mean that was a really solid match to end on.